Okay, so just got cut off there, so I'm going to continue with multiplying terms, and we just started multiplying out brackets. Okay, so from here, again, same idea, except that the expressions are just longer in the brackets, but it doesn't change anything. You still have to multiply the outside term by each term inside the bracket. So let's start on the left hand side here. So we've minus 4 times 3a squared. So minus by a plus is minus, okay? 4 by 3 is 12. And we just carry along the a squared here because there's no a here. We just keep the a squared. Minus 4 multiplied by a. So again, we've minus by a plus is minus, and 4 times a is 4a. And then lastly, we've our constant by our constant. So minus by a minus, remember like signs give us plus. So minus by a minus gives us plus, and 4 by 1 is 4. Okay. From here, just be careful, and we see this a lot in algebra. We have a negative sign in between, but we need to treat this as if it's a minus 1. So the negative sign, because there's a bracket beside it that we're multiplying, if we multiply it by each term, okay, the minus is going to change all of those signs. So we're going to treat this as if it's minus 1. So minus 1 times 4a squared minus by a plus is minus. Okay, and I'm actually continuing here. I just don't have enough space. Okay, so minus 1 by 4a squared is minus 4a squared. Minus 1 by minus 2a, minus by a minus is plus, and 1 by 2a is just 2a. And then minus 1 by minus 4, again we've minus by a minus is plus, and 1 by 4 is 4. Okay, now I'm going to have to simplify this, and what we can see here is I've an a squared term and an a squared term. I've an a term and an a term, and I've a constant and a constant. Now the sign always stays with the term, so it's the sign before the coefficient. Okay, so just be careful with that. So we've minus 12a squared minus 4a squared. So we're on our number line here. So if we're on minus 12, so if we owe someone €12 and then we owe them another €4, we now owe them €16. So it's minus 16a squared. Okay. Here we've minus 4a plus 2a, so minus 4, okay, and we're adding 2, so we're going to the right. So minus 4 plus 2 is minus 2a. And then lastly, we have 4 plus 4, okay, just double checking that was minus by a minus, yeah, so minus by minus is plus 4a, minus by minus plus 4, yeah. So 4 plus 4 is just plus 8 at the end. Okay. So moving on, and this is where it gets a little bit more difficult again. Okay. What you can see here is we have our b, which is the same as b to the power of 1. And we've b here, which is b to the power of 1. Okay. Now we saw this in the last section of multiplying. So multiplying terms part 1, where we have to increase the powers if we have the same variable. So I'm just going to start off with the 4 times 2. So 4 times 2 is 8. And then we've b times b. Now I've written b as b to the power of 1 here. So b to the power of 1 times b to the power of 1. We add the powers and it becomes b to the power of 2. Okay. And then here we've a plus 4b to the power of 1 times minus 2. So plus by minus gives us minus. 4 by 2 gives us 8. And the b is just carried along from the first term. Now remember here, we can't add or subtract these two terms because they've different variables. So even though they both have a b, they have to have the same power. and these have two different powers, so they're not the same terms. So we can't add those two together. Okay. Next one, we have a multiplied by a plus 1 plus a times a plus 1. So what we're looking at here is a times a is the same as a to the power of 1 times a to the power of 1, which we know is a to the power of 2 because we add those powers. A to the power of 1 times 1 is just a to the power of 1, which is actually just a. And then here we have the exact same thing, so we've plus a by a is a squared, and a by 1 is a. Now we can simplify a little bit further here because we've a squared and a squared and a and a. So a squared plus a squared. This is like 1a squared plus 1a squared. So this is like our number line. So if you've 1a squared and you add another 1a squared, you end up with 2a squared. And then we've a, which is the same as 1a, plus a, which is 1a. 1a plus 1a is 2a. And again, 2a squared and 2a have different variables, so we can't just add them together. Okay. And the last question here for this section, multiplying terms part 2. Okay. We have 3a by 7a, 3a by minus 2, minus 4a by 3a, and minus 4a by 1. So 3 by 7 is 21. A by a is a squared. Okay. And then 3a by minus 2. So first of all, we've plus by minus is minus. Okay. Then we have 3 by 2, which gives us 6. And the a just gets carried along because there's only one a here in both of those terms. Next part, we have minus 4a by 3a. So minus by a plus is minus. 4 by 3 is 12, and a by a is a squared. And then we've minus 4a by 1, so minus by a plus is minus. 4a by 1 is just 4a. We've an a squared term, an a squared term, an a term, and an a term. So we've 21a squared, okay, minus 12a squared. So 21 minus 12 is 9a squared, and minus 6a minus 4a on our number line. Remember, we owe €12 and then we owe another €4, so we now owe €16. So it's minus 16a. Sorry, I'm after doing that wrong. I was looking at the wrong terms. So we have 9a squared. Now I'm looking at these two. So sorry, I was looking at the two wrong terms. So minus 6 minus 4. So I owe €6 and I owe another €4. So I now owe €10. Okay. And again, these are different terms, so we can't add or subtract them. Okay. So we've got through a good bit there. We've done substitution in the first video, substitution and multiplying terms. We're multiplying terms part 2 here. So we've done quite a good bit. So I'm actually going to stop there and I'm going to send on a list of questions that can be practiced based on everything we've done so far. And we'll start with the next part of the video. We'll be correcting those questions. Okay.